Jesus Christ is King.
All right, cause number 2312903 and 2312904.
Aren't you going to take a seat?
No, I'd rather stand.
Well, it's your hearing, sir.
Is it okay if I stand? Is there something wrong?
Why do you have to stand so close to him?
The sign there that says no standing.
Oh, well, okay. I didn't know I was subject to those rules. I didn't agree to it. Anyway.
Okay, so there's a bench warrant.
You know, I'm just going to take the seat.
Thank you.
Appreciate your that makes us a little more comfortable.
Is it uncomfortable if I stand up, Your Honor?
Well, depends on how you're going to act or behave today.
I'll have a seat.
Okay, so you failed to appear for court multiple times in this case.
Now, Your Honor, just for the record, the named defendant is actual property, a registered trade name.
Oh, here we go.
And the case has also been certified as a fraud. I have court certified documents to prove that. That should be on the record. And that's the reason why it was certified to be a fraud, because the plaintiff is a foreign-owned private corporation, of which I have no contract with, and neither does the registered trade name. And the registered trade name has been used without authorization and permission, and there's an act of identity theft. And that's probably one of the reasons also why the state has acquiesced that both cases are a fraud.
All right, guys, today's courtroom disaster starts with a man who genuinely believes the law only applies to a piece of paper, not the actual human being standing in front of the judge. The video opens with a sovereign citizen confidently explaining that the defendant is merely a registered trade name, while he himself is somehow separate from it all. But the judge immediately realizes this hearing is about to spiral completely out of control. Instead of quietly taking a seat like every normal defendant, this man starts challenging courtroom rules, claiming he never agreed to them in the first place. And from the very beginning, you can already see the patience in the courtroom slowly disappearing. What makes this even crazier is the fact that this guy failed to appear in court multiple times already, yet he walks in acting like he's the smartest person in the room. Unfortunately for him, the judge is absolutely not buying any of it.
I just may add one more piece of information. I am a foreign sovereign with respect to the privately owned foreign corporation known as the state of Washington.
Okay, so on the 9304, I am going to quash that one. He was in RALJ appeal status, and so I'm going to quash that one. But I do want to hear from the state on the 303 matter.
Yes, on the 303 matter, Mr. Haywood was sentenced to serve 4 days in jail. He failed to report to the jail on June 29, 2023, and we're asking him to be taken into custody to serve that time.
Objection, Your Honor. I actually contacted the jail to make special arrangements to deliver the defendant with the special arrangements to not damage the paper, and the jail refused. So I attempted to deliver the defendant, and objection, the state has no standing as they are representing a privately owned foreign corporation, and the prosecutor is not licensed to practice law in this country.
Okay, so I think it's the 303 that he was convicted and ordered to do jail, and you believe that he didn't comply with jail because there's a docket entry that said defendant complied with jail. Maybe that was an error.
That was probably my attempt to deliver the defendant to the jail, but they refused.
Things get even more ridiculous once the sovereign citizen begins unloading his legal fantasy arguments. According to him, the entire case is fraudulent because the state is supposedly a foreign-owned corporation, and the defendant's name is nothing more than stolen identity paperwork. He keeps repeating bizarre phrases like registered trade name and foreign sovereign, hoping the courtroom magically accepts his made-up interpretation of the law. But here's rectly into fantasy. The prosecution calmly explains that this man was sentenced to 4 days in jail and simply refused to report as ordered. That's it. No conspiracy. No secret corporate takeover. Just a defendant ignoring a lawful court order. Yet instead of taking responsibility, he claims he tried to deliver the defendant to jail as paperwork, but the jail refused to accept paper instead of an actual human being. And honestly, the entire courtroom begins sounding more like a comedy sketch than a criminal hearing.
I understand, and we relooked that he had not, as was the state's understanding, he had not served the jail time.
And just to clarify, the defendant only exists on paper, just as the plaintiff only exists on paper. The jail refused the paper, and here we are today. And the state still hasn't proven standing yet, by the way, as well.
So, Mr. Haywood, it doesn't look like you did the sentence on the 303 matter. And so I am going to quash the warrant. However, I am going to have you serve that time.
Okay, well, I'll deliver the paperwork to the jail. That's fine. I tried to once before, but they refused it. And just to clarify, I'm not the defendant. There is nothing on there, nor is there any testimony from anybody as firsthand witnesses under penalty of perjury that I am the defendant. And I've uploaded plenty of documentation to prove I'm not the actual defendant. That is a registered trade name, matter of public record, and registered with the state. So if you want me to serve some jail time, then we're going to need to change who the defendant is, because I'm not the defendant.
All right. So can you upload a new commitment?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the reason they couldn't put my name on there as a defendant is because I'm a foreign sovereign with respect to the corporate entity known as the state of Washington, of which I have no contract with.
Wow, the land of make-believe.
Okay. So with respect to the 304 matter, which is still pending, what's your position on the warrant, Ms. Fredenberg?
The state was going to ask for that warrant to be served.
Objection to jurisdiction. The state has never proven any jurisdiction and has no jurisdiction or standing. So any request or statements from any representative from the state are a nullity and a fraud. If jurisdiction is challenged, it must be established on the record. And it hasn't been, and it still isn't. You can do it now if you like, if you can.
Okay. So, Mr. Haywood, you failed to appear many times in both of these matters, had many warrants quashed, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not confident that you're going to come back to court given the history here of failing to appear.
I will agree to come back to court on behalf of the defendant.
Now the judge attempts to restore some level of order, but the sovereign citizen doubles down harder than ever. Every single sentence out of his mouth becomes another strange attempt to separate himself from the person named in the case. He insists that only the paper defendant was ordered to serve jail time, not him personally. All right, guys, this is where sovereign citizen logic completely self-destructs. The judge patiently explains that the jail sentence still needs to be served, whether he likes it or not. But instead of listening, the man argues that the jail previously rejected his attempt to turn in the paperwork defendant. The courtroom practically freezes in disbelief, as everyone realizes this guy truly believes he discovered some hidden loophole in the legal system. Meanwhile, the judge keeps moving the hearing forward with the patience of a kindergarten teacher trying to control an angry child throwing a public tantrum inside a courthouse.
The appearance fiasco was simply because the communication between the acting prosecutor at the time and myself. I have plenty of emails. So in one case, he said he was just going to reschedule with the judge. I told him, reschedule whenever you want. I'll go ahead and be there, and I'll bring the defendant with me. And next thing you know, there was a warrant for a failure to appear. So there's been plenty of fun and games with the acting prosecutor at the time. So it wasn't just a matter of not bringing the defendant to the court. The prosecutor was intentionally sabotaging the scheduling process.
Well, the prosecutor doesn't handle scheduling, the court does. So the court ordered you to be here and then you weren't. So.
Objection, the court ordered the defendant to be here. I am simply bringing the defendant to the court to help try to solve the problem. The fact that the registered trade name remains as a named defendant is an act of identity theft and fraud, and that's probably why the state has acquiesced that the case is a fraud. I have the documentation here with me today in case if they decided not to upload it to the court record.
Well, you had your day in court on the 303 matter. You had a trial. You represented yourself or the defendant, whichever way you want to say it, but you represented the defendant yourself. And you were convicted and you were ordered to serve 4 days in jail. You didn't do that. And so,
The defendant was ordered to serve 4 days in jail, and I attempted to deliver the defendant to the jail, but the jail refused.
okay, well, I'm going to make sure that they don't, because I've done a new commitment for you today so that they won't refuse for the defendant to serve that time. I'm going to serve the warrant, and so we need a pretrial date, Madam Clerk.
There's no jurisdiction yet been proven or standing. Are we going to continue? That would be an act of fraud and treason.
Your Honor,
That's a felony. That's an arrestable offense.
I put both of them in one of our.
Well, we don't need anything on the 303. He's just going to serve a sentence.
Okay.
We just need the 304 and
Yes, I
a
have the
seat.
defendant here with me today. You can take him to the jail if you like.
At this point, the hearing transforms into a nonstop barrage of interruptions, objections, and completely fabricated legal theories. The sovereign citizen repeatedly screams about jurisdiction, standing, fraud, and treason, even though none of those arguments have any relevance to the actual charges against him. Every time the prosecutor speaks, he instantly objects. Every time the judge rules, he claims the court has no authority. But the funniest part is watching him accidentally destroy his own argument over and over again. He says he isn't the defendant, yet he's somehow appearing on behalf of the defendant. He claims the prosecutor sabotaged scheduling, despite the judge explaining that the court handles scheduling, not the prosecution. And somehow, despite failing to appear multiple times already, he still expects the judge to trust that he'll return voluntarily in the future. You can practically see the judge reaching the absolute limit of his patience as this circus continues spinning completely out of control.
So your next court date is going to be September 13th. We probably need to change that since I'm taking him into custody. So do we have anything in August?
Excuse me, Your Honor, are you testifying that I am the defendant under penalties of perjury?
I'm not testifying to anything.
Good. And here's the defendant right here.
All right.
Your Honor, we can do August 24th at 10:30.
All right, I can change that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So August 24th at 10:30 in the morning will be your next court date.
I will be here with the defendant, no problem.
You're going to serve those 4 days and then you'll be released and nothing more will happen on that 303 case. You'll be done. And then this case will be heard August 24th at 10:30 in the morning. If you change your mind about representing yourself, then you can ask for help if you want it. If you don't want help, we don't have to have it. So we'll see you in August. I'm going to have you take a seat right over there.
I will be here for the defendant August 24th. Would you like me to deliver the defendant to the jail?
I would like you to sit over there
Is there any
with
standing
the
or
defendant.
jurisdiction chosen, proven here yet?
Please go take a seat.
Okay, so let the record reflect no jurisdiction has been proven.
Then comes the moment where the judge finally decides enough is enough. After hearing endless nonsense about identity theft, fake jurisdiction, and paper defendants, the judge orders the warrant served immediately. And instead of realizing the situation just became very serious, the sovereign citizen keeps arguing like he's still winning some imaginary debate. He even warns the court that continuing the case would somehow amount to fraud and treason. All right, guys, this is the exact moment the fantasy world begins collapsing around him in real time. The judge calmly schedules the next court appearance while making it crystal clear that this man is going into custody today. But the sovereign citizen still refuses to accept reality. He continues asking whether the judge is testifying under penalty of perjury, that he's the defendant, as if courtroom procedure suddenly operates like a YouTube comment section filled with conspiracy theories and fake legal advice.
And neither has the identity of the defendant definitively been established.
Okay, please go take a seat. Sonia Sesko, customer 231024002. Mr. Haywood, sit down.
Am I obligated to follow these rules?
You are going to sit down right now.
Do you have any jurisdiction? I don't believe you have any jurisdiction that's been proven yet.
Please sit
Were you threatening me with violence?
I'm asking you, said yeah.
You only have authority over the defendant. You have no authority.
What are you doing?
Mr. Haywood?
You're escaping?
I got things to do.
No, no, sir.
What?
You are in custody right now. If you leave the courtroom, it's a felony escape.
It's a felony to put me in custody because you have no authority or jurisdiction or standing. You got some proof of
Okay,
that?
well, we are all being recorded, so if you leave this courtroom, it'll be a felony escape charge. Your choice.
Okay, well then, I guess in the best interest of peace, in regards to your violence, I will go ahead and relax for a minute, but let's get with it. I got things to do.
Now the tension inside the courtroom rises fast because the sovereign citizen suddenly refuses to sit down after being ordered into custody. Instead, he keeps demanding proof of jurisdiction while acting like the judge personally needs his permission to enforce the law. The judge repeatedly warns him to take a seat, but this guy just keeps pushing further and further. Then comes the devastating reality check. The judge informs him that if he walks out of the courtroom, it instantly becomes felony escape. And somehow, even after hearing that warning, he still argues that the court lacks authority over him. This is what makes sovereign citizen videos so unbelievable to watch. They genuinely think repeating the same fake legal phrases somehow overrides actual law enforcement power. Meanwhile, the judge stays calm, professional, and completely unfazed while explaining exactly how serious the consequences are becoming if this man keeps refusing lawful commands.
Got it?
What was that just thrown?
Car keys.
Do you know that person?
Yeah, they're my voice.
Okay. All right. So thank you. Mr. Haywood has been very disruptive. He tried to leave the courtroom once he was placed in custody. So just FYI, be careful with him.
Give me a break. Can I just see just need to see it, thank you. Can I see who's being put into custody, please? I just need to see the name. I just need to see the name of the person. Okay, that's not me, that's the problem here.
The situation officially crashes into full disaster mode once deputies begin preparing to take him into custody. Even then, the sovereign citizen continues insisting that the paperwork doesn't identify him properly. He literally asks officers to show him the name on the documents, then proudly announces that the listed defendant is only his registered trade name. At this point, everyone in the
Sanborn's matter. We're here today on
That's not me. The name is saying it, but that's my registered trade name. I got all that documentation right here.
Okay, good. So we're
You want
gonna take care of
it?
it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is the defendant, technically.
If you want that, I can go with you, put everything private.
Hold on 1 second. Well, that's taken care of.
We can see that can't even get the right name.
Did she file a notice of appearance?
I will make sure that she does, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I haven't had enough coffee yet today. So yeah, no, you've got Ms. Bradshaw, so that's fine. You don't need to do those forms. But she does need to file a notice of